things Americans do that confuse the rest of the world. This is going to be interesting to see what America's got going on. That is just going to baffle me. Yeah, let's jump straight into this. Check this out and see what we got, man.
America is the land of the free, the home of the brave, and also the home to a lot of weird stuff that most other countries don't do.
Right.
This former British colony has truly grown up to be its own quirky person. The following 10 things tend to confuse non-Americans, and you can find non-natives of the US of A discussing them all across the internet.
I'm out just out for this one.
Number 10. Tipping. America definitely isn't the only country in the world where tipping is a common practice. In fact, if you're curious about what jobs get tipped in what countries, there's a website called whototip.net that breaks down the tipping customs of the world.
Actually interested for when you go on holiday.
But America is certainly the country where tipping is the most prevalent. In most countries and cultures around the world, tipping is simply an optional charge should you feel your server deserves to be rewarded for their efforts. However, in America...
Yeah, the only way in the UK someone's getting tipped is if you really like the person that's serving you. Other than that, it don't really happen.
You should always give a tip of around 10 to 20%, especially at restaurants. Tipping is a big part of American culture, which seems odd to outsiders.
Does that not make like your food bill very expensive? Like, let's say you're taking the family out or whatever, and you're paying for the family, or you're taking someone out for a meal, it comes into $100 or $200 or £300, $300. That's like what, like another $60 on top of $300? So $300. Jesus, man.
Tipping, but it's probably here to stay. In America, the unspoken system is that food prices in restaurants are lower than they should be because tips allow the restaurant to pay their wait staff less. They can then charge you less for food. At least that's what you can try telling your friend the next time he doesn't want to contribute to the tip at a restaurant because he recently saw Reservoir Dogs. While a lot of people argue that tipping is a good thing because it increases the quality of service you receive, this isn't actually true. Cornell University published a study that revealed the real reason people tip, more or less, is basically random, and customers who receive great service tip on average just 1% more than those who don't. Lots of people around the world look at America and ask, why not pay service workers a normal amount of money and just make the food more expensive? Number 9. Have few.
Yeah, to be fair, that would make... I don't know, well, like, it'll be interesting to see from an American perspective. Do your tipping bother you? Like, the way... When you have to, like, tip and stuff, does that bother you when you got to pay extra on top of the food? Or is it just... You're probably just used to it. It's just everyday life. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, you're used to it at this point. It's just like us paying more expensive for food anyway.
Vacation days. Americans don't go on vacation as much as the rest of the world does.
Yeah, this is
weird. On average, we're given only 12 vacation days by our work, as opposed to Europeans who get between 25 and 30. Perhaps more interesting is the fact that Americans on average only use 10 of their 12 given vacation days, whereas Europeans tend to use all of theirs.
Oh, listen, if you're in the UK and you're not using all of your vacation holiday pay or whatever, right? You're gonna be weird. If you're not using all of it, you're weird, bro.
I guess Americans just can't bring themselves to leave the office while there's still work to be done.
Workaholics.
While it may suggest Europeans are lazy, according to a mounting body of research, it's actually counterproductive not to take a vacation, as breaks help us rejuvenate, increasing our productivity over time.
No, I think it's because we just want more days off. I feel like it's more of a lazy point.
Not only that, when us Americans do go on vacation, we also travel less internationally than citizens of most other countries.
Right.
But that may be related to our limited number of vacation days. 12 days just doesn't allow for an international trip as well as 30 days.
Oh, don't worry. Oh, people in the UK, like, even if they're not going on holiday, they're using their holiday days just for random days. You know, I want this day off. I want this day off. I want to go out this day. I want to do this day. They'll just use it, you know, everywhere. A couple every month, whatnot. But yeah, 12 days, you can't really do much for 12 days.
As the time and cost of travel to international destinations is so great. According to the Department of Commerce, American international travelers spent 42% of the cost of their entire trip simply on the travel to and from their destination. It's then not too surprising that most Americans don't even have a passport.
Yeah.
Only 42% of US citizens own a passport. Whereas
see, I always wonder, why do Americans, like when I talk to an American, they barely been out of America, right? They barely traveled that far. But then I forget how big America is. America is way bigger than Europe, so it's like me. I haven't really traveled out of Europe, so it's kind of the same sense as that. You know what I mean? So it makes sense.
76% of English citizens do. That means at least 58% of Americans haven't even left the U.S., as you need a passport to travel.
I don't think
to
they
the
need
rest
to.
of the world. This is an odd characteristic of such a prosperous nation. While it's partly due to limited vacation days,
Considering how big America is, I don't think you really need to. That's like me leaving Europe, right? Like it would be nice, but it makes so much sense why Americans don't leave America, because of how expensive the plane's going to be, how long it's going to be, etc., etc., etc.
it may also be because Americans lack the desire to travel as much as the rest of the world. Number 8. Food preferences. When you go to a restaurant in America, you're probably going to get a lot of food.
Oh,
at
yes.
least a lot more than most other nations would serve. It's a popular topic of discussion amongst non-Americans online. Many European
Oh
tourists
my God,
admit
that's
they
too
would
big.
frequently just order one item off the menu and share
I wouldn't even know what I would do with that.
it with another person. America does
Yo!
it big. And for non-Americans, the size options at fast food restaurants perfectly illustrate this. Take a
Bro,
look at
who's
this
eating
image
that?
by a Japanese citizen in 2011, comparing
Wow.
the sizes of McDonald's drinks in America versus Japan. The medium Japanese cup is the exact same size as the small American cup,
Wow.
and the American medium cup is larger than the Japanese large. But McDonald's is on the small size. Here are the small sizes at a number of vendors, showing just how much larger a small cup is in America. While many around the world like to joke about how it proves Americans are fat, the truth is a lot of them take away their leftovers in carry-out boxes to eat throughout the week. Still,
Smart.
American food is vastly different to food found in the rest of the world.
Bro, what do you do with this burger right here? What do you even... How how do you even eat that?
For one, non-Americans are, on the whole, less obsessive about peanut butter. Brian Sternthal, a professor of marketing at Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management, has said that in many parts of the world, peanut butter is regarded as unpalatable American curiosity. For
Right.
example, according to Statista, Americans eat a kilogram of it per year, compared to 100 grams eaten per person per year. in Europe.
Jesus.
That's 10 times the amount Europeans eat.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, because I hear a lot of Americans say that they love peanut butter, but then in the UK, barely anyone really has it. The only time I have peanut butter is with Kit Kat Chunky peanut butter. That is really good, but that's the only time I have it.
Other American food anomalies that have confused Europeans include comparatively small fruit and vegetable aisles full of fruits and vegetables that will cost you a lot more than they would across the Atlantic, as well as an overabundance of highly processed sweet and salty foods, and so-called cheese that can be sprayed out of a can. Number 7.
Yeah, listen, I've seen a video on that spray cheese already. That can't be good, surely, right? It does not look good coming out the can, I can't lie.
College sports. In America, college sports are almost as popular as professional sports.
That's mad.
In some areas, they're actually more popular. People will have barbecues outside of stadiums for hours before the game starts,
sign
paint
me
their
up.
faces, and hate on rival academic institutions. College athletics are taken just as seriously by the fans, who don't care that the players aren't as good as the pros and aren't even getting paid. This may be baffling to our neighbors, but there is an explanation for this American pastime of watching what are literally amateur games.
Yeah, listen, in the UK, you're going to be lucky if you even get your friends to a college game of any sort, of football, whatever, right? You'll be lucky if your friends go. Never mind a lot of fans.
Unlike most fun-sized European countries, America is massive.
Yeah.
There are lots of places that just aren't anywhere near a major city where you could go and see a professional team play. Colleges are the next best thing, and there's bound to be one of them nearby at least.
That makes
College
sense.
football and basketball also actually predate those sports' professional leagues, so college athletics culture has been around forever. Number 6. Prescription drug commercials.
Oh my God, I've seen this
Non-Americans who
before.
travel to the U.S. are often surprised to find that there are advertisements for prescription drugs on regular television.
Nice.
You can't go and buy them from stores, so the commercials urge viewers to ask their doctor about them. In
At least they say that.
2016, Kantar Media, a firm that tracks multimedia advertising, reported that nearly 800,000 prescription drug advertisements were aired on television, which was a 65%
Oh my God.
increase from just 4 years prior. Basically, the reason these commercials don't don't exist in other countries is because they aren't legal in other countries. In fact, the only other country where these kinds of commercials exist is New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
The US pharmaceutical industry is huge. It generated $425 billion in 2015. If they're allowed to advertise, of course they're going to. And it works.
What?
Direct-to-consumer advertised drugs tend to sell better than drugs that aren't. But they're controversial, and it seems the reason America allows them comes down to our free speech protections under the First Amendment. Governments in most countries around the world think they're dangerous, and the research suggests they're not wrong. Even the American Medical Association has called for a ban on them as—
Oh my god, no way. Yeah, that would be weird, right? Because like, I feel like when you got drug advertisements, right? I feel like they're more, to me, it's like they're doing it more for money and not more for health. But I'm not like one of those guys that's gonna say drugs is bad, like good drugs is bad or whatnot, right? So it's whatever. Let them do them. Hey, they'll sort it out eventually.
These advertisements have been proven by studies to broaden the scope of who gets treated with prescription drugs.
Like, the thing is, it would be bad if they didn't have to go to the doctor for them, right? So if it's over-the-counter drugs, and you know what? No, in America, they probably do have over-the-counter drug adverts, which I can see that being bad. But if the adverts are saying go to your doctor, it's not that bad, because the doctor's gonna, the doctor's gonna be the doctor and give the right drugs to the right person. So
they also lead to patients being influenced to take newer, less effective drugs that often cost more. For example, Vioxx, which was later withdrawn as it caused life-threatening side effects such as increasing the risk of heart attack.
Oh no, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Okay, right. I've changed my mind. I've now thought companies are just gonna come out the woodworks, right? More caring about money than actually helping someone out. Obviously, the drugs, they're going to make it so they do help them out. But like they said here, it's going to be a worse drug for more money. But because they're advertising it, people think it's going to be good because they're going to be making it out to be good. And people are going to be buying it. Yeah, it's bad.
Second stroke.
It's bad.
Number 5. Soccer.
I changed my mind.
America, of course, isn't the only country that plays soccer.
Right.
But we are one of the only countries that calls the game you play with your feet soccer, and the one you play with your hands football. We stand with countries like Australia, Korea, South Africa, and Italy in not calling the sport football.
Wait. What do... There's no way Italy calls football soccer.
Understandably, it confuses.
Does Italy call football soccer? Wait, what?
Confuses most of the world. So, what is the origin of this counterintuitive name? Soccer is an abbreviation of association, which came from association football, the official name for the game. The suffix was added as a common jocular slang term of the time. The reason the name is stuck is because American football developed in the mid-19th century, evolving from the British game of rugby. Back then, rugby was loosely known as football, but it was often called rugby to make the distinction. All these sports were about moving the ball forward, but as the game developed...
Do you know what I don't get about, like, American football and rugby? Why is that, like, they said that they called rugby football back in the day as well. Why would you call it football? You barely kick the ball, right? Does it make more sense to call it handball? I don't know. Listen, I'm not bothered what you call the sport, right? You could call it football, soccer. I don't care. But would it not make sense to call it handball over football?
Across the pond, Americans developed different rules about how you were allowed to do it and what you could wear. The most popular rule set in England ended up being the one where you can only use your feet. And the most popular rule set in America ended up being the one where you get to smash into each other. Hence why
Smash ball. That sounds good, man.
The two totally different sports have the same names in the two countries. Number 4. Not including sales tax. Wherever there's a discussion of American sales tax on the internet, you can find non-Americans telling their tales of being shocked at the final price because they didn't realize that sales tax wasn't included.
Yeah, I did.
In most countries, the price tag on an item includes the part you have to pay to the government, so they can build roads and other things. But not here in the U.S. This is because sales tax in America can vary by county, so something that costs a slightly different amount just a mile away.
Wait, is this real? Wait, I just realized Oh, I thought that said 42%. It's 5.42%. Oh my god, wait, which one's the highest? We've got 8%, 9%, 9.5. All right, Tennessee's the most of what I can see. 9.5. Wow. So let's say you're gonna buy like something really expensive. It might actually be worth to go to like one of the 5%. It's lower than 5%. It might actually be worth to go there and buy it, depending on how much the travel cost is gonna be, right? Crazy.
Cost a slightly different amount just a mile away. There are also very specific laws about what gets sales taxed. For instance, if you order coffee to go, there will not be sales tax in California. But if you sit down in the cafe and eat a donut, you will have to pay sales tax. Essentially, with all these rules, it becomes difficult to put things on a price tag. Number 3. Not using the metric system. The United States of America has no need for universally accepted and logical measurement systems because Thomas Jefferson said so. In 1790, when the metric system was being developed, he simply decided not to bring it to America. So it didn't happen. America, Liberia, and Myanmar are the only countries in the world that use the imperial system.
Hey, they just want to be different, man.
Liberia uses the same units that America does, and Myanmar is a bit of a mess. They use a combination of their own totally unique Burmese measuring units, American imperial units, and metric units. So they may have the distinction of being the only country with a bigger headache when it comes to this
Oh my
than
god.
America. But surely now that Thomas Jefferson is long dead, we could just switch over, right? Well, it isn't that simple. It would cost a lot of money to switch over the country's whole infrastructure to the metric system now that the US already uses their own unique imperial system. The closest the US has gotten is that today, in US schools, kids learn about both the imperial and metric systems. So most of us do have a basic understanding of how the metric system works, even if we never really use it. Even if you buy a measuring tape in the US, it will have both imperial and metric units on it. Throughout American history, there have been various attempts to reform the system and switch over, but none have succeeded. It would seem as though Thomas Jefferson's wish for an extra special system shall live on for the foreseeable future.
Hey, he just wanted to be different, man. The thing is, though, I can't really see America... Like, I can see America changing it, right? Because it makes sense to change it to the rest of the world. But then I can also see why they wouldn't change it. Because it's going to be... It's not like harming them, right? Being their way. And it's going to cost a lot of money, so...
It hasn't come without its consequences, though, as this confusion has led to enormous mistakes, like the Mars orbiter that was lost by NASA because of a metric system mix-up.
Oh, wait, no way.
Month before the day.
Oh, here we go.
The United States is the only country that, when writing out the date, puts the month before the day.
Hey, look, listen, Americans, I love you guys, right? But you guys just love to... There's nothing wrong with it, but you guys just love to be different, man.
And it seems to extremely aggravate the rest of the world.
Most
other countries write the day, then the month, then the year. The majority of countries and most of Europe and South America do it this way. It seems logical as the units of time are then in order from smallest to largest. Also seemingly logical is how the date is written in China and Japan, which is year, month, day, or largest to smallest. So why do we format time like this? Well, unfortunately, there's no widely accepted answer as to why this is the case. The month-day-year order was used in Britain in the 1800s.
Wait, what? Wait, I'm saying laughing at Americans using month-day-year, but we did it in the 1800s. Wait, why? Wait, what? What?
But why we chose to keep it when Britain ceased to do so is something of a historical mystery. The best guess is likely that the order...
I wonder why we had month, day, because it would always just just be logical to have day, month, year. In what sense would, like, the UK have month, day, year? That's interesting, that is.
Reflects how Americans say dates verbally. An American would be more likely to say that it's January 1st more than they would be likely to say the 1st of January. Our notation then could simply be a way of writing out what would be the most conversational. Number 1. Having a drinking age of 21. A 20-year-old European may be in for a shock when they fly to the US and discover that they can no longer legally drink alcohol.
21 seems just so high. Like, to drink. because I'm pretty, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can buy cigarettes in America when you're 18, right? You can vote in America when you're 18. You're allowed to buy guns in America when you're 18, right? But drinking, you can't until 21. That sounds crazy. I know everyone in America is drinking before 21, but yeah, 21's quite high, man. Because like the point that I was getting at with like the guns, the cigarettes, the voting, they're all adult responsibilities, right? So you're an adult. And drinking, people drink at 18 because you're classed as an adult. Well, you're classed as an adult then, so why is it not 18? Why is it 21, not 18?
While you may already know about this peculiar American practice, what you may not know is why it is the case. In 1984, the U.S. passed a law called the Drinking Age Act. It stated that if a state did not create a minimum drinking age of 21, they would lose up to 10% of their federal highway funding. The states all took the hint and made the drinking age 21. But why 21? Well, America has a long and storied past with alcohol, including prohibition. Lawmakers didn't just pick the number out of a hat. It dates back centuries to Old English common law, which states a person becomes a full adult aged 21.
Oh wait,
at which
really?
age a person could, among other things, vote and become a knight. Still, as shown by this map, the U.S. is one of just a few developed countries to have a minimum legal drinking age over 18. In fact, in some countries like Belgium and Germany, 16-year-olds are allowed to purchase alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcoholic or not, if you order a drink in America, you're...
Wait, what age can you vote in America? Because I'm pretty sure, I think that might have been back in the day, it was 21, right? I'm pretty sure it's 18 in America to vote. I could be wrong though.
Probably going to get it with a lot of ice. In most other countries, you just won't see the sheer quantity of ice that you'll get in your American beverage. Granted, you'll often get ice in your drinks in many European countries, but ice-cold beverages are the default option in America. Whereas lots of people from other countries don't have the same preference, and drinks aren't always served with ice. This cultural difference is frequently debated online. It could be because in some countries you shouldn't drink the tap water, which is where that ice came from, and in others it just isn't common to automatically have ice with a meal at a restaurant.
Oh, I want ice everywhere, man. Ice is so good. So many people always say to me, like, why do I have so much ice in my drinks? But it just tastes better when it's freezing cold, right? Really good video. Enjoyed that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you guys agreed with any of them, if you disagreed. I am live every single day on twitch.tv/AlphaWG if you guys want to check me out. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.